People will spend thousands of dollars to have somebody do a breakdown, do a budget of their script, do this, do that. I'll put this together for you. I'll put that together for you. Next thing you know, you're down $10,000, $15,000, and you're absolutely nowhere at that point.
you just broke it down. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Khoa Le Show. Today we have James Orfano. He's a producer and an entrepreneur who I met at the American Film Market. And today we're going to be talking about independent filmmaking and the state of it and everything else. So, James, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So we met at the American Film Market, and we had I think we immediately connected. I think we shared a lot of similar views on things, and I wish we were recording our conversation when we were there. So I seen your IMDb, and you're known for a good cop. Tell me more about that, and then we could kind of get into the other details that's needed for the audience to want to hear how you made it.
Yeah, of course. Well, A Good Cop is a TV show, 10 episodes, 1 hour each episode. So it's a crime drama. It's a police crime drama, and we shot that in 2021. So basically at the tail end of COVID. And then it came out in December of 2021 into 2022, so it aired. And that was a lot of fun. We shot that all over New York, a little bit in New Jersey. We kind of shot that everywhere. It was 80 production days. So we shot in every borough, every New York borough except for Staten Island.
When did you get into the filmmaking world?
So I got into filmmaking. We have another company also. It's a due diligence company. It does investigations and due diligence and all that. And so when we opened up that company in 2013, we got into film very quickly because my brother and I were always involved in entertainment. We did events. We knew a lot of people in entertainment. It was an interest of ours.
Okay.
Going back for a long time. Yeah. So then when we opened up our company, and this is kind of a lesson right here in terms of business where you never know where things are going to end up. The whole plan, the structure of the company was we're going to work with a lot of lawyers, do corporate type work, due diligence. Mm-hmm. And we ended up in film. We ended up working with film studios and
was it because you were so bored with the industry that you had to do films too? Compliance.
Right. Well, honestly, it all depends on your client. So that's a good point you raised. It all depends on the clients you have when you're doing the due diligence. But we didn't seek out film. Okay. We didn't seek it out. We were involved in entertainment. And we kind of just...
this would be a great story, and we should just do something together.
Right. We kind of just stumbled into film. And, it's funny because I didn't go to film school. So to me...
Me neither.
Honestly, well, we'll get into film school. There's pros and not pros. But, I always like books. I always like comics, video games, you name it. Like anything like that, I was really into it. So I loved stories. My brother and I would talk about, we would write short stories. We would come up with ideas for comics and video games, but never to do it professionally. I see. It was the kind of thing where you watch a movie, where we were fans of films. Yeah. Never. It was how to make a movie, and it's a different world. Right. And when we got brought in, essentially on the business side first, where we're doing the due diligence, and the way that would work is production companies, which in the beginning weren't even really production companies. It was production companies that are financing companies. They're financing films. So producers pitch these companies. They're trying to decide if they want to invest or not, and we would be hired to do the due diligence on them. You're looking into the producers. You're looking into, are they a litigious group of people?
Oh my God! I wish I'd known you 10 years ago.
Yeah, so many issues that come up. Is this person? They're asking us, let's say, for the investors would say they're asking us for, they're trying to put a $3, $5, $10 million film together, whatever they're trying to do. Can they manage that kind of money? What's their situation like? So everything from, it's like in business when somebody asks you where do you live, they're really trying to figure out what's your income bracket, so on the due diligence side, it was who are these people that are pitching us to do this film, and do we think they could finish this film?
I see.
So we came into it from that side, and then we got involved deeper and deeper into it. We eventually started doing security for sound stages and for different productions, and we would come at it. We offered a lot of services: due diligence, investigative services, security services, and then we would partner with different kinds of companies. So You might need cybersecurity. You might need cameras installed. You might need mag locks on your doors installed.
Yeah.
We don't do specialized work like cybersecurity or digital forensics. So you start partnering with other companies, and you get a whole operation going.
Gotcha. Wow.
And then we eventually started working with bigger and bigger studios. So we did that for years, and we were essentially living on film sets because we would get hired, and we're there from development a lot of times, or pre-production, and then depending on what we were doing, we're on set. We're in the production office.
And so that is your film school. You're learning like crazy what's going on and over there. What's good, what's bad, right?
You see a lot of productions that are happening where they went wrong, where things went right, and you'd see some producers who are masters. I mean, some people out there could take we can come up with an idea right now, and they'll turn it into a huge film. Other people are just great salespeople. And the film itself, it'll get made in a very chaotic, haphazard way, but it gets made. And then other people, it'll collapse.
Yeah.
It'll fall apart for not always mismanagement. Sometimes, and that's where that's where the money comes into it, because you get someone who's never managed $5 million before. Now they're running a production. It's more money than they've ever seen. Sometimes, a film could just mysteriously fail to get made. They got paid.
Wow.
The movie didn't get made, but they got. So these are some of the red flags.
Yeah, those are big red flags. I mean, and let's. So the Good Cop, do you self-finance or do you raise money for that?
So a TV show versus a film, whole different thing. A Good Cop was, compared to a lot of the shows that are out there, I mean, Game of Thrones and you name it, those shows are astronomically bigger budgets. But even a relatively low budget TV show is a high budget. You just break up. We had about a 40-person crew, times 80 days, not to mention your pre-production, your post.
You shot that movie. Oh, because you had 10 episodes.
Because 10 episodes, and we shot that quick, relatively speaking.
80 days.
So we were partnered with the network on that one. We pitched the show.
Which network?
NTD is the name of the network.
NTD, okay.
And this is an interesting sort of example of how things can work out, because you're out there pitching shows. And we came across a network that just happened to be, perfect time, perfect place. They're a media company, primarily news, but they were looking to get into scripted content. And it kind of worked out. And they were like, look, we don't want a pilot. We want the whole show. We'll distribute it. So a lot of the deal was, it was set up for us already, when it's we got distribution already, and it comes with other benefits. You can rent equipment, you can rent all these things. So it kind of worked out for us. To do that independently would have been very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
You got to raise all the money. You're taking a huge risk.
Yeah.
And unlike a film has got a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
You've got a completed product. And to be honest, even if you don't have classic a distribution, if you're a good salesperson, you'll cobble together something, and you can, depending on the budget of the film.
You could still bring in something to market, right? And hopefully you stayed on a reasonable budget to get your money back somehow.
Right. With a TV show, there's issues of future seasons.
That's right.
So contractually, you're going to have options for all your actors.
Yeah.
Where, I have an option that I can call if we're going to get a season 2 or a season 3. So if you don't call the option, we had over 300 speaking roles in A Good Cop.
Wow.
So if we're going to go into a season 2, you can't let all these actors vanish into the wind. You're not going to get a lot of them back. They get busy on other projects. So to do a TV show independently like that, you're taking a massive risk. So unless you have a network or you have some kind of distribution in place,
that's right. That's exactly right.
It's too much of a gamble. Yeah.
Okay, let's go into American film market. For those that they don't know, what AFM is, it's probably the only U.S. B2B market in America, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and this is where you get to meet your sales agent, your distributors, and other filmmakers like ourselves. I think it's a mix of buyers and sellers, more sellers than buyers, obviously, over there. So what was your take on it, on the AFM? It was my first time being there, by the way.
I had a great time at AFM, and yeah, I think AFM is the biggest market not associated with a film festival.
Yes.
right?
Yes,
It's
yeah.
just a market.
Just the market.
I had a great time there. It was the first time that AFM was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And, some people took issue with that, but I had a great time there. I mean, we met at AFM, and that was awesome.
But what was your thought about the climate of it? Like, where we're at in the indie world.
Well, first of all, it's the business side of film. So for anybody out there making films who, if the business side is a little foreign to them, go to AFM. Go to a film market.
And they need to, because, these filmmakers are insane that they're just thinking that money is going to come out of trees and it's just going to work. And they say, oh, I'm going to raise $10 million to do something, and then have no clue how the money is even made in films.
They have no idea how. And also you get a lot of filmmakers, especially on the indie side, who proudly proclaim, like, oh, I'm not a business person. I don't know anything about business.
I said, that's not a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, and then you wonder why all these people, like, they hear that and they rush into the business just to take advantage of people, and you get so many filmmakers who they want to get a film made and they're starting to spend money on things. And it's like, you got to raise money. Why are you spending money on it?
Because you know what it is? Because they think, because I used to think that way. I know that. They think that when someone has a budget for it, that's the profit. They think that's a profit for them.
Yeah.
And
Oh, 100%. And also, there's people who do take advantage. And there's people who, people will spend thousands of dollars to have somebody do a breakdown, do a budget of their script, do this, do that. I'll put this together for you. I'll put that together for you. Next thing you know, you're down $10,000, $15,000, and you're absolutely nowhere at that point.
you just broke it down.
And people are just coming in. It's like, oh, you're not a business person. Don't worry, I am. Give me $10,000, and I'll help you do this, and I'll do that.
Yeah.
You're down thousands at this point, and has it helped you make your film? Years have gone by now, and your film's still not made.
Yes, right.
What was that for? But AFM, so I would recommend everybody go and check it out, because it literally is the business side of film. Mm-hmm. And you also get to approach film in a different way, because, if we decide to make a film, the fun way of doing it and the artistic way of doing it is, what story do we want to tell? Like, what's fun for us? What do we want to tell? You go to AFM and you find out, it's like, well, this is what the different markets are looking for.
That's right.
Here's what the South Asian market is looking for, the European market, the American market. Different demographics, what they're looking for. So it'll help inform your decision.
Yeah.
Before you even sit down and spend a couple of months writing a story out, where am I trying to get this film seen? Where am I trying to get this? And for people who say, like, oh, I'm not a business person. Okay, if you want to write a story, you want to make a movie, that's an artistic decision.
That's right.
The moment you say, I want my film to be successful, that is a business decision you're making.
That's right.
When you say, I want to cast an A-list actor, that's a business decision.
Yeah.
Don't trick yourself into thinking it's a creative decision. Out of all the actors on the planet, the only one you want to work with is the famous, successful one. That's a business decision, because it brings so much success to your film. It'll help you get distribution. It'll help you get money. Yeah. It'll raise your status significantly.
That's right.
All the reasons that A-list actors don't want to work on smaller projects, by the way, because they bring so much to the table, and the balance is off in that situation. But so AFM, you go there and you see the market from the other side. Yeah. And you're sitting down with all different distributors or sales agents, whatever, the whole list of people, right? Buyers, all different kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And they're not wasting time. Nope. It's like, what are you working on? I'm working on this. Not interested. What else you got? Yeah. Show me your trailer. You're trying to sell a film, or you're trying to license a film. They're watching the trailer. It's a minute trailer. 15 seconds into it, they just look away from it. And it's like, well, what else you got, man?
Yeah,
what
you got, right.
Yeah, whatever. I can't.
They don't even have to look at 15 seconds. They look at the first 3 seconds.
There was one guy that I was talking to, and he goes to me, I don't read past like 4 or 5 pages. He goes, if I'm not interested in the script, I'll stop. So I said to him, I was like, yeah, but what if it's a good movie? What if it gets great? He goes to me, honestly, there's always a great movie. There's always something else in my inbox coming at me. There's always something good being pitched. He was like, so the time I'm going to spend reading all these scripts, I'm going to end up losing down the road. It's the sheer volume. So then you're an independent filmmaker, and that's the biggest challenge you have to overcome. And you go to AFM. How many people were at AFM?
Maybe 600, something like that? Maybe more?
I would say over the 5 days that AFM was there, thousands of people went through it.
Oh, really? You think so?
I would say thousands of people. everyone's got multiple films that they're pitching. Everyone,
That's right.
there's just so much content out there.
Right, and,
So
you got people that has completed catalogs, like 30 films, and they're relicensing their catalogs and selling constantly, and then they got another 50 projects in development. Those are the people that you're competing against.
it's endless, and most of that content, you look at it from the stance of the sales agents and the distributors and people that are licensing films. The volume is so high for them that they're going through.
Yeah.
And they've heard it a million times. Like, it's like, oh, I have this really cool low-budget horror film. Low-budget horror makes money. Yeah, low-budget horror does make money. But the problem is,
Go ahead, say it.
everyone has low budget. Like, everybody's bringing it. So
Yeah, there's like a million of them that has the same low budget, and like 80% is like similar concepts to each other.
and you don't realize it's similar until you start talking to other people. It's like, that movie sounds like my movie. Like, I went down to the coffee shop today and I heard 3 people pitching the same idea.
Same movie.
The same movie.
Do you guys like have an NDA? That's why people don't like people signing off for NDAs for creative, because a lot of the movies are very similar.
The first sign that someone is less experienced in the business is when they want you to sign an NDA before you read.
Before anything happens.
It's ridiculous. Like,
I know.
I won't do it. I absolutely won't do it. And first of all, for practical reasons also,
right.
like, you sign 3, 4 NDAs, you can't make anything anymore.
Yeah.
What's your concept?
Yeah.
Like,
That's so funny.
but so AFM, you meet a lot of cool people. You meet a lot of other filmmakers. So there's that. You're meeting other filmmakers.
Yep.
Collaborate. All kinds of things can happen. You talk shop, and then you are seeing the business side of film. And it does put you in a different mindset of, maybe I should work backwards. Maybe first let me see what is moving in the market. What does the audience want? And maybe we can tailor our films toward that. And also, the pitches. Like, you're looking at different people's pitches, and you're looking.
Which most of them were terrible.
Most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Because
it's just inexperienced people at the end of the day, and they don't understand it either. Like at AFM, you're gonna learn real quick on what people want. You're gonna learn a lot of the cookie cutter stuff that people want too. Because distributors want to play it safe. So I have a friend named Jeff Deverett. He was on my show, like my recent show, right? And
you introduced me to him.
Yeah,
right.
And he's very popular. Like, he has millions of viewership online. That's how we all know him. But he talks about distribution. He's done 9 feature films. He put it into Netflix, and he's done it himself. And he used to be a distributor for like 20 plus years. And then the guy comes off very honest to me, and he comes very honest to the indie world too. But he does sub $1 million movies, and he teaches how bad it is, and he knows the market really well. And if you watch his other stuff, it's quite amazing. So he brought me to this into one of the towers, and it was like a bunch of distributors. And he had these students in there, and I tagged along with him because I didn't schedule my meetings with the distributor. I just didn't do it because I went there just to meet with people. But he brought me along, and and I'm sitting down there. He's asking these distributors really to help the students learn something. And an eye opener was one of the distributors goes, "Yeah, we're not looking for something so different. We're looking for girl meets boy, boy meets girl. They get together. There's a little conflict and happy, and then give them a happy ending. And that's what our audience want." I'm like, and that's all the films? Yeah, for this genre. You're like, so you're not looking for anything different, to a little bit just slaying out of that formula. They're not gonna take it.
Think about it yourself.
It's crazy.
If you sign up to go watch, if you buy a ticket to go watch, whatever kind of movie it is, it's almost like a contract. Like, know what you want, what you're looking for. If you're not getting it, if you go to watch a slasher and it turns into a rom-com, it's like, this is not what I signed up for.
I want to see some gore in my movie.
Right, exactly. I don't want it to be so similar that I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what's going to happen. But it's got to be similar enough where it's like, I'm in the mood for this kind of movie.
Right.
It's what I want to watch.
That's what I want to watch. Yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah, that's a great. The guy, he's good. Like, I remember when I first met him, I was like, he looked familiar because he pops up my Instagram sometimes. Like, I'll see reels, and he always says good stuff.
And that was a big sign. That was a big eye opener for me, because a lot of filmmakers want to do something so different that hasn't been made. But it's okay to do that, but you have to stay within the lane of who your client is. And people, and then I think filmmakers don't understand who their client is. So yeah, if you're going direct to audience, then your client are your audiences.
Right.
But then if you're trying to sell your movie and you're trying to have other people sell it, your client is really your sales agents, right? And the sales agents are the one that's trying to sell to the distributors, and which is a little bit of a fine line of, because distributors and sales agents are kind of like mixed between things, right?
Yeah, and you made a great point in terms of looking at it as who's your client.
Yeah.
And there was a book I read, Stephen King, on writing. It's like his autobiography. Really cool book. Whether you're a fan of his or not, like the book on writing is pretty cool. It's his story and how he became a writer. And one of the things he explains is short story writers, which is where he was getting his start. They would write to the audience, but to get to the audience, you had to go through the magazine publishers that would publish like short horror stories.
Yep.
So then the writers started to write for the editors, because if the editor doesn't like your story, it'll never get a chance to be read by the audience.
Yeah, that's right.
And now writers are starting to custom tailor their movies for the editors, and what the editors want might not necessarily be what the audience wants, but the audience has no choice. They're going to read whatever they have access to, and this is. Today things are different thanks to the internet. But even today, a lot of people will make movies for festivals. And it's like, well, what does a festival want? What are the prior winners?
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
What does well in the festival? Well, what does well in festivals and what wins awards, what gets celebrated, might not always be what would be commercially successful.
Yeah. But that's the problem, and that's the reason why we see on Netflix and other platforms where people are complaining about the same stories, nothing being different. Always taking a big risk anymore. And well, the issue is because the audience it's the audience's fault, because this is what they're demanding. But we hear with it internally. It says, "Oh God, I don't want to watch it anymore." It says, so I'm wondering. It's like Netflix got all the money in the world. They understand that. These distributors, they understand that. But when they present something that's so different, no one wants to buy it. No one wants to watch it.
It's a tricky situation.
It's a conundrum. It's a conundrum, right? And so we as filmmakers, we want to be able to raise money and then say, oh, I've seen this before. Yeah. And that's what we call them comps, comparables, right?
Well, you're 100% right. It's because nothing's a guarantee. So you're going to make a film and you can have a great business plan, you can have a great marketing plan, which most people don't even have that, right?
Yeah.
Even if you have all that, look at Hollywood. Hollywood will have all that. And a lot of their movies will still bomb.
Yeah.
The market is somewhat fickle. And the moment you think you have a formula and it's working for sometimes years, then all of a sudden it stops working.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about AI. I think AI has completely changed the whole filmmaking landscape. And I am sure that 99% of filmmakers are using some sort of AI somewhere, whether it's a little assistant somewhere, but they're using AI in a search, researching something, right?
Everybody's using it. Even we shot a film, super low budget, and we used AI in the film. We had to put a sign up on a building, and
you don't want to hire VFX, just circle it, just change the name.
We did it with AI. And you can't tell. For small things. Every writer I know, even the ones who
they're using AI,
even the ones who don't like AI, they'll still run things through AI just to see what it'll come up with.
Yep.
Just to see what
and that's a big contradiction, right? The writer's strike and everything else, right? But AI is a great thing, and it's a bad thing for people that does it for a living, and I get that, but but then they will complain about it if it doesn't hurt them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work the other way around. It's disrupting everybody. So you might as well embrace it. ChatGPT is so smart right now that it could do reasoning. Okay?
Yeah.
It has reasoning capabilities. And wait until a few more months when O3 comes out. O1 Pro, completely off the charts. So what we're doing right now, we're doing and we're using AI. We're a heavy AI company here.
Right.
As a media company, we do a lot of AI stuff, and we're in development of 20 to 25 projects, and then we could get them out there month to month, by the end of the year, we're gonna have 100 fully finished casted projects, like wish list projects out there, from ranging any budgets from like a $500,000 to maybe a $10 million project or something like that. And then we're gonna go right into the market and say, okay, these are the genres that we like. These are the people that we think is gonna work. And now this company called like Largo.ai, amazing, because you get it's not like an app where you just pop it in. No, they have a whole entire back end system where they are advising filmmakers of, well, this is the comp. This is very comparable to what what a sales agent would actually pitch to their own clients too, and you could flip cast and you create different valuation, and it's just a game changer, because now you don't have to go into a market to figure this out and spend years on it. You could actually come out of school, start using these AI platforms, because knowledge is really valueless now. I mean, there's no real value to knowledge besides understanding how to use AI nowadays.
I think, when you go into business and making a film, each film is its own business, right? Time is super valuable. So you're 100% correct. AI is not going away. It's getting more advanced. You don't have the luxury of not liking it, or even it's a tool that comes out, and it's your responsibility to just know how to use it, because that's where the future is going. And yeah, if you could save time, anything that'll save you time you should prioritize. Anything that'll help you cut down. And then in terms of people losing their jobs, let's say, which is, jobs are going to transform like any new technology that comes out. But the best way you can help people, if you're one of these people who's like, listen, I don't want to just do it on AI. I want to hire the FX people, but I can't afford to hire the FX people, so you're not hiring them anyway. Become successful. Yeah. And when your projects get bigger and bigger, then you're helping people. You can hire bigger crews and bigger post teams, and you can do all these things. But first, you got to overcome that initial hurdle.
Yeah, you make a good point, because when writers complain about AI and it's going to hurt their jobs, the people that's using AI couldn't afford them anyways. You're gonna charge this producer that $80,000 when they have a $400,000 budget to make a movie, and you're gonna charge them a quarter of the budget already before the movie even started. It makes no sense. So of course they're gonna use AI against you.
Yeah, and AI, like there's going to be a whole genre of AI written films, AI written, produced, acted. That's going to be its own thing.
Yep.
Human writers will always have their place, and I always think they're always going to be the number one spot.
I totally agree on that.
And actors, same thing. Like AI is getting good enough. We all see it. Pretty soon, you won't be able to tell the difference really between a human actor and an AI actor.
No, you can't. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, literally, I mean, you're putting up the concept. I don't think it's ready for, like, spit out me a 120-page script and then make it. It will. Give it another year. It will spit it out, and it's going to be better than a regular writer, than a human writer.
That's going to be a new genre of film. Like AI conceptualized, AI written, AI acted, but people are always going to want human writers also. Yeah. And they're always going to want human actors, because acting, it's sometimes, there's the performance, and AI, no matter how advanced it is, at least now, right, it's going to simulate human emotion. You can have the actor crying and doing all these things. It's simulating it versus an actual human. And there's also everything outside of, an actor, their careers are not just what they're doing when they're playing in film. It's also how they are in interviews, how they are with their fans, fan interaction, all these things. AI, unless you're talking about like robots, won't be duplicating that anytime soon. So,
and you know what? I think operational work is. I think that's a tough job. If you're trying to get into that, like if you're an assistant writer, that's a tough job to get into.
Oh yeah.
Right? Your job is gone. But I would say, but if you're sitting there, we as filmmakers, AI is a great thing because you save a lot of money. You're able to have an assistant that's gonna be your backbone. Like, you could be on set and say, I don't know how to write this dialogue, and it would give me 20 options of the dialogue, and then you can make a decision what you're gonna do. A script is only a blueprint. It's not like it's a, And here's the thing about scripting, and this is maybe the whole different conversation, but I don't like scripts that are so descriptive where it doesn't meet the budget. Like you can write this. yeah, this is a great script, but we don't have the budget to build that set. So write something different. And then
Right.
so me as like from a director and a producer, I'm like, sometimes I don't like to read. I just like to read the intentions of the description, and I ignore everything else because I have to know what's available when we're producing it.
I agree with that. I do the same thing. Ideally, even if I know I'm going to read a script, I do like to read the concept first.
That's
I do
right.
like to read the synopsis first.
Yeah.
This way I know what I'm getting into. Otherwise, I have to read it. Then I'm going to go back a second time and read it. Now that I've read the script, now I also got it from a practice. Because the first time I read it, I'm looking at it story-wise.
I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna show on this podcast, but when we get off this podcast, I'm gonna show you how. And I'll show the audience soon. I don't think the audience is ready for it, but I'm gonna show you how we put a pitch deck together, and I would say it's the way we condense is really good from a story breakdowns and stuff, and then we're gonna show you how we built out the business plan around it. And the business plan is the hardest part, but now with like Largo and ChatGPT, it's actually by the way, AI I would say it's 100% pre-trained of the word information. Like you can't squeeze any more juice out of it. They know everything at the moment, and so now they're trying to think about how does AI create new information without humans. That's what they're working on.
Well, yeah, with AI, that's a challenge, right? Because you don't want AI learning off AI-generated content.
That's exactly right. Because
Right.
you're in this hamster wheel. So now that's the big talk at the moment. That's why they're trying to get to this place of that AI is kind of come up with its own new theories, new, I don't know how they're going to do it. But that's, first of all, that's scary as shit. But, but it's also exciting at the same time.
We know it's scary, but we're here at the beginning, relatively at the beginning of it.
We're in beta mode, man.
Right.
I look at it like in beta or something.
So in my opinion, like we see how advanced it's getting.
Yeah.
And first of all, we've been seeing these movies for decades,
That's
right?
right, yeah.
AI, Terminator taking over.
Well,
like,
we don't learn from our own lessons.
right. We don't. But we're there at the beginning. So in my opinion, there's no excuse for falling too far behind. Like
That's right.
even if you don't like AI, it doesn't matter. Like this is the new technology coming out, and even if you don't like it, you're going to be beaten competitively by people that are incorporating it into their work. So now that it's there, that it's sort of at the beginning, learn how to use it or partner with people who know how to use
right.
it. And that's one of the things that you learn where you can't be an expert at everything, but
Yeah.
how do you build your team? How do you put that together? But AI, it's a tool. It's a tool like any. I mean, most people don't shoot on film anymore, right? Actual film, like
Yeah.
things are different than they used to be. AI is the new thing. You got to incorporate it. Not that you have to rely on it, especially on the writing side. Like I think visually, we all see the writing on the wall. Visually, it's going to be more and more AI. It's saving you a fortune on your production.
And you know what? It's I hate to say it, it is a volume game, man. This is a volume industry. I would say it is. You got to do both. You got to be super high quality and super high volume, and you got to be savvy with those both approaches, and you got to include business together. So I mean, I want to talk about, and this is the number one topic for every filmmaker is film financing, and we had an extensive talk about that. I mean, where are you at with film financing? Are you financing other people's films, only yourself, and then talk about like if you don't, how do you go about approaching other people to finance your films?
So the financing side, which I think is everybody's biggest challenge, right? Like, I don't care. You read about the biggest names, like legendary people, and you start reading how their films got put together. It's like they sometimes spend years cobbling together finance or getting certain things polished off on their film.
Yep.
And for indie filmmakers, that's the biggest challenge. Making the movie,
Easiest part.
it's the easiest
fun
part. Like,
it's the playground. It's the easiest part.
it's the fun part. You're going to have challenges, but the challenges are the kind of challenges you want. Like that's the fun part. You're solving them. The not fun part is having to raise the money for it. Yeah. And then, by the way, having to raise the money and having to deliver your film has to become successful. If you made 3 movies and you raised money successfully for them and they all lost money, you're going to very quickly run into a place where you can no longer raise money.
That's right.
Because everyone's going to be like, well, how did your last movie do?
Yeah.
How'd the movie before that do?
Yeah. It's like a bad franchisee. They had failed locations, and now nobody's gonna want to buy your franchise.
Exactly. So if you're raising money, you do have Now, professional investors do understand that film is risky. They understand that not all films make their money, but you have to have a strong plan in place.
That's right.
And there are ways, everybody knows, right? You have your tax incentives, you have different kind of incentives you can use to try and hedge your risk. And there's different things you could do, like what's your backup plan in case you don't get that huge distribution deal. Like there's all different kinds of things. And you have a strong business plan and a marketing plan, which I think most people, everybody says marketing is important. Everybody knows it, and then nobody puts any effort into it. Which is, you can have the most successful, you can have the best film in the world.
But nobody knows about it.
No one's going to watch it.
Yeah, no one's going to watch it.
And then it sits on a shelf. And then one day it becomes like outdated.
That's right.
Not that, a good film will always be around, but you know what I mean? If you're not marketing it.
And the person that gets screwed the most is the investors.
So, and that's the first part about financing films, because filmmakers will very often, and they don't do this on purpose, they take a me-centered approach. So they'll walk into an investor's office and they're going to pitch it. And the attitude they're bringing with them is, can you finance my film?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you. Like to put it coldly, to put it in a very cold way. Nobody says, "Wow, I made all this money in my life, so I could finance your films." That's why I did all this. Nobody does it for that reason. And the investor is not going to go around saying, "Wow, I'm so happy that I invested in John Smith's film." Look at the actors. Like, let's switch gears a second. Actors don't go around saying, "Yeah, I made John Smith's film. It's his film." They don't tell their friends, come watch John Smith's film.
Right.
They say, come watch my film.
That's right.
I played in it. The investors are going to say, that's my movie that I invested in. I backed it, I whatever I did. So the first thing, so a filmmaker will go in there and they have the attitude of, help me make my movie. Nobody wants to help you make your movie.
Yes, right.
So what are they getting out of it? That has to be a big part of your pitch. What are they getting out of it? What's the plan to make money? And there's also a little bit more to it than that. Investors want to make money. Where are they coming at it from? Who's the investor? Like, are these professional film investors and this is what they do? They're putting funds together or whatever. Or is this somebody who has a lot of money? A professional in some other field, and they're investors. And it could be in multiple things. Film is one of them. Maybe they always thought film is cool. By the way, a lot of filmmakers also take the attitude of, well, film is so cool. These people want to get involved in film. Yeah, film is cool. That's not enough to make somebody invest.
Not put a 7-figure number into it either.
And also, people with money, they have options.
Yeah.
If they want to get involved in film, they can get involved in film. There's all kinds of things.
And there's investors. I was in Puerto Rico, right? And there are investors that said, do not make money from this film. I don't want, because it's tax. They want to make sure it's a loss, but they get so they said, draw me out something that I'm going to benefit a lot from the film, as long as it doesn't make any money from it.
So again,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah, so one of the things, and we learned this back before we even got into film, the investors might have a different motivation. And it's interesting because, like, even networks sometimes, or like a streamer, filmmakers all have the same goal. We want our film to be as successful as it could possibly be, as many people watching it as possible. That's our goal. A streamer or a network or whatever it is might have the attitude of, listen, we license content. We want to put out some original content as a value add to our subscribers. So they want to make a film to bring in subscribers, not necessarily because they want that film to go on to become so successful. It's a marketing
That's right.
Thing for them. So for you, it's, I want the film, maybe we can go theatrical with this. And they're like, oh, we don't care about this going theatrical. Like, we just want to put out original content so we can show our subscribers. You get licensed content plus original content.
We just need to fill in some of the slots. Oh, we need more romance here, and we just need to just push some things and put a fresh one in here.
Right. For them, it's essentially marketing.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But for you, you're going into it. And for investors, I came across an investor one time who, we were talking about them investing in our films, and they kept trying to get us to film in a certain location. And I was like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not a terrible place to shoot. They had decent incentives and all that, but it was odd that they kept pushing for that one location that was so far out of what we were thinking originally. And it had logistical issues and all kinds of issues. And like, no, it's great. You get great incentives. We know people there. We know local people. It turned out, behind the scenes, their plan was to build sound stages. And that's really what they wanted. They were building sound stages, and they wanted to pull film into their area. And that's the
They
real.
should have just said that straightforward, right?
Well, why would they?
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
from their attitude is like, you don't need to know my plans. Like, this is
That's
my
true.
business.
This is my business, right?
But it was a sort of snag in the negotiation, because it's like, well, I don't really want to shoot there necessarily. Like, give me a reason why we're going to shoot there, because it's not making any sense. The incentives are good, but the incentives are just as good where I want to shoot. And I am more familiar with the crew, more familiar with the people here. So you never know what their motivation is when you go into it. And, you know, you mentioned pitch decks. So many people, a pitch deck is essentially a lookbook.
That's right.
With a couple of slides of financial information on it, a couple of slides of comps. And it's like, you know how many times I've seen pitch decks with like Little Miss Sunshine as a comp, you know, paranormal, like, oh, it's the same movies over and over again. You know, Blair Witch Project. It's like, these were shot for so little and they made so much. Like, you're picking the unicorns that happened to blow up in such a huge way. Like, that's not a great thing to gamble on.
That's right. And so basically, essentially, these filmmakers really got to understand what these investors want. You have to go in there with the mindset of how investing into you is going to benefit them. Whether it's an ROI, whether it's an impact, whether it's a tax deduction that they're trying to do, whether it could be a commercial or something like that. Right?
Yeah, there's the financial side, but here's also the interesting thing. Before you even get to the financials, before the investor is even going to think about, like, okay, practically, how much money is this going to cost, and how much money do I have to invest? Before you even get into that, the first thing they're evaluating is you. And this is actually, I think, this is an important point. Yeah. And we saw this in the due diligence side. We saw this when we were running our other businesses, and we see it now when we go and we pitch, or even when people are pitching us and we're trying to decide who to partner up with. The first thing the investor is going to look at is the person.
Yeah.
You can have a great film. Who cares if it falls apart?
That's right.
In the middle of production, or if it runs out of money in post-production.
They look at you as the risk.
You're the risk.
Yeah, you're the risk.
Initially. And that is a very important point. And because the investor, how much are you asking for? Yeah. How much are you trying to raise? Mm-hmm. And does this, you know, I think a huge part of business, a huge part of negotiations, a huge part of whatever, is being able to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Mm-hmm. And for filmmakers who tend to be, you know, empathetic, who tend to have, you know, their emotional intelligence should be fairly high. Mm-hmm. You put yourself in the other person's shoes. Would you invest in yourself?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I say that all the time
right.
too. Right.
It's a serious question. Like, would you invest? So you get somebody coming in.
And the answer, what they say, yes. I'm like this.
Okay, so but then you break it down. It's like, how much money are you asking for?
That's right.
Have you ever in your life managed that kind of money?
That's right.
If the answer is no, you're already sort of behind. And does this investor trust that you can actually manage a project of this size? So your project management skills, how are those? Conflict resolution. Like I'll say, I always tell people, the first thing is your team. What is the team that you are presenting to, let's say, the investors? And, you know, inevitably you're gonna have disagreements. What's your conflict resolution? Like, do you know each other, or did you just meet a couple of months ago? And not even a couple of weeks ago, you signed some contract, and now who knows if there's gonna be a falling out? Who knows if there's gonna be risks you're always taking?
That's right.
But are you a proven team? Have you done things before? Are you actually close?
Well, that's an interesting thing that you talk about, because they're gonna. It's like getting out of school and they don't have a resume, and these jobs are saying I need someone with 3 to 5 year experience, and nobody's giving them experience. So how do they go about that? You know, like, okay, you know, it's like, well, I never raised any money. I don't know how to manage this money, and nobody's gonna give me a shot for me to raise. So where do I start?
So the answer might have to be that you start small. Right? The answer might have to be that
start with maybe some of your own money and grow it slowly.
It could be your own money. It could be,
mom, dad, money.
But the thing is,
friends.
A lot of filmmakers do understand. Like they do start with shorts, and a lot of them do start with smaller content. And then the question becomes, okay, I've done a couple of shorts. How do I break out into bigger projects? And so a lot of the issue. The issue could be your stories. Yeah. And honestly, it could be, because.
But here's the thing about shorts. I have a problem with shorts. So the problem with shorts is that it does not give you. it's a way of doing creative stuff, right?
Right.
And can you tell a story? Great. That's what and that maybe a certain little demographic who you're pitching to, right? And that's asking for some money, right?
Right.
But that does not give you the picture of how you're gonna make money because it's short. It's just there's no financial strategy for a short because there's no market for that, and so they're dead in the water regardless. Because for a feature, it's not gonna help them how to manage even $500,000 budget, and then how to bring it to a distribution, how you bring a sales agent in, and how do you attach people in like. Maybe if they don't know much about business, then you attach someone that knows about business.
That's the thing. So where are you in your life, right?
Yeah.
Like, we came into film and we had other businesses. We had another business. And the business did well for us and it continues to do well for us. So we've managed projects. By the time we got to our first set that we're running ourselves, yeah, and maybe not a film necessarily, but we've managed projects. We have employees.
That's right.
We've done payroll, we've done taxes, we've done all these things. We've had employees who have issues. We've had people not show up for the day of work they're supposed to be there. You have all these things. So we've already done all that. And so much of a business is the same, and film is a business. I mean, you're going to start an LLC or whatever you're going to start for a film, and you're going to run it, and it has its payroll. And when people think about business, they're always thinking about, like, when a filmmaker says, I'm not the business guy, usually they're talking about like the administrative side. I don't do taxes. I don't do payroll. That's the administrative side of film, of any business that nobody likes to do.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
The actual business side of film, the other part I should say is it's the human side. It is the negotiations, which is also a skill unto itself.
Yep.
It's putting the team together. It's project management, deciding what film you're going to make. Casting very often is a business decision. There's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, it's when you're trying to raise money for a film, AFM. I saw people that are trying to raise like $4, $5, $6 million for a film.
10 million, Phil.
10 million, and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, like look at this from a practical standpoint, and you've never made a film.
That's right.
Anywhere near this scope. Some people I came across had never made a film at all, and they're trying to raise millions of dollars.
That's right.
And that's a tough sell. I mean, it's a very difficult, next to impossible sell. Or you're going to try and go out there and convince people they're not banking on anything.
Yeah.
You have no plan for distribution. You have no plan for anything.
And here's the thing about this too. So, okay, you got those that are raising, and then you got the ones that work for with the producers that's trying to fund. And the thing is that they're just trying to get a fee from the investment. And if that's their mindset, then they don't care about the business. They're just trying, hey, I got this movie, and they're great salespeople maybe. They're gonna pitch whatever they're gonna pitch, but there's no care. And I would say they were all flooded around AFM.
There's a lot of people who, on both sides, they don't really have a passion for at least that particular project.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. Some people just want to be on set.
Yep.
It's like, listen, I haven't made a movie in 3 years. I got to get back on set. Bad motivation to have. I mean, it's an honest motivation.
Yeah, it's honest.
It is an honest thing, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
By itself. Not a thing you want to be broadcasting to people. It's like, I just got to get on set, so I knock this script out. And I come across that. Like, it's like,
yeah, I met someone that was like, yeah, I just do Christmas movies. Yeah, I do them for like really low, and I just churn and burn, and it's like, and then I just, I make them for like $25,000. I flip them for $40,000, and it's like, okay. And so why you're in the business? I shoot them for 7 days, and like why are you in the film business? Why you flooding the market like this? And
you're right.
There's it says, I just like to do that, and it's like, and those are those type of people.
So your challenge, right? Exactly. So to that point, your challenge as an independent filmmaker, you're not only competing against so many other filmmakers that are just like you, that are coming at it from a place of like, I'm passionate about this film. You're coming across people like that who, maybe they're successful, maybe they aren't, but they're putting out so much volume.
Yes, right.
And you're sitting there spending years trying to raise X amount of money.
That's right.
Maybe if you're having a hard time raising $5 million, try and do something where you have to raise $500,000.
That's right.
Or $100,000. 50,000.
And you know another thing too, like for people to raise money, they have to have their own skin in the game as well. I truly believe that. Like, you know, how much money are you putting in for yourself? Okay, you work a 9 to 5 job, you make $100K a year or $50K a year. Are you putting a certain percentage of your income into it so you could risk something? And to me, that's important because as an investor, like even me as an investor as well for things, I want to know, I can't be the 100% guy where I give you the money and then it's like, you got to feel equal. You got to not be able to sleep at night either, you know?
It's common in like in real estate.
Yeah.
In real estate, it's very common for you to put your own money into a project to help, exactly what you're talking about. You got your own skin in the game. You have whatever. You're trying to develop a real estate project. And in film, very often, you don't see that. And now we run into the same problem that I was talking about before, where the filmmaker themselves could be part of a red flag. Because it's like, if you're not putting money into the project, it might be because you don't have money to put into the project. I mean, starving artists are a real thing. Now, film is a difficult business. It's a difficult business. And, filmmakers, most of them, actually work very hard at trying to get these films made. They just don't understand a lot of times from the negotiating standpoint. They're not putting themselves in the investor's shoes, or sometimes they're coming at it from an honest place, but they're maybe being a little unrealistic in terms of like what they're trying to make. So sometimes they can't put their own skin in the game, but there's other ways you could do it. You could tie, let's say, your compensation into the success of the film. So if you can't put down 50,000 of your own money or 100,000 of your own money into a project, you can at least show it's like, you know what, hey, I'm trying to tie my compensation into the film and I'm going last.
You know what? That's what I did. That's what I did for the Christmas Cowboy. I didn't take a director's fee. And I also didn't. I took equity, and I said that we'll do the whole 100% post, and so my post production, really was 6 figures, easy,
right?
Finishing everything else, right? From sound design, composition, blah blah blah. That's another way of doing it too. Like if you're really good at that, you could always throw those skill sets into to guarantee something, Like, but if you're a terrible editor. You can't sell that. You're a terrible sound designer, you can't sell that. But you're good at those, you could sell those, and so you don't in exchange of equity too.
Exactly. And being able to manage the project itself. I mean, there are practical things where you're bringing on crew. Are you being responsible in terms of how much crew you bring on? It's very easy, I think, sometimes for a lot of people. I notice a lot of the less experienced people, they'll sometimes bring on too much crew when they get money. And there's different reasons for that, all different kinds of reasons. So being able to manage the actual project, and that's the thing. So if you're asking for $500,000, which is actually, in today's market, it's a decent amount anytime. Go out there and
that is a decent.
Ask somebody for $1 in the street. It's hard to get it. Like you're trying to raise $500,000 to make a film. First of all, you can make a respectable film, very respectable film for $500,000. Like, you can make a great movie for that much money. And
in the market too, it's the distributor would say, if you want to be safe with your money, make it for under 200,000. Because they can't get because they don't guarantee you could even make that money back for the next 5 to 7 years. Just letting people know that it's like, look, you've seen all the media or reports saying that people make their money back and more, and like they 100x'd it. Those are unicorns in my opinion, man. You got to look at real practically what the market looks like. If you made a movie for $200,000-$300,000 and you got no marketing budget to it, maybe in the next 5 years, if you worked hard on it, you could actually make that money back.
Right.
And which is a tough business, man.
It's a very difficult business. And, you also have to look at yourself because in any business, film included, you're going to find people who became successful using all different kinds of methods. Some people are super organized and other people are just as successful and they're chaotic. And some people, they wake up every day at 5 a.m., they're at the gym, they're disciplined. Other people roll out of bed whenever, and you're going to find people that are successful using all different methods and lifestyles. You can't really copy. You can look for inspiration. You can look to fill in gaps. And it's like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. I want to incorporate that. But you're not just going to be able to copy somebody else because there's just different things. Like someone's going to invest in a film. in terms of in terms of investing in the people, it's all different kinds of things. Different people have different skill sets. So you have to understand, what are you good at?
Yeah.
Are you good at negotiating? Are you good at project management? Are you good at, let's say you really are just a creative person and you don't want to touch the business side. It's just not your thing at all. You don't want to think about it.
Right.
Then you got to partner with somebody who you can actually trust. And I'll tell you another red flag. Another red flag on that topic of partnering with people is when a project comes to somebody and they've gone through like 10 producers already. And it's like, what's going on over here? Well, this guy didn't work out. That guy didn't work out. Well, we have multiple issues here.
Yeah.
Multiple
what
problems.
happened, man?
Right. There's like red flag after red flag is popping up. Like, you could be being unrealistic.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, this guy didn't get it done in 6 months. That guy didn't get it done in a year. Movies can take a while sometimes to get made. The issue could be them, but then that means you're picking bad partners.
That's right.
So if you're picking bad partners, that's a red flag. It could be because your movie is just difficult to get going.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, why aren't you recognizing it?
Yeah.
And it could, so
You're smart, man. Yeah, you recognize. You're asking the right questions, man. Oh my gosh.
So people, it's again, like, you come down to the person.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't realize how many red flags. Again, you look at it from the investor standpoint.
Yeah.
I get people, you probably had the same thing, like anybody out. They'll bring films to us and it's like, I was with all these people, none of them worked out. Why would I get involved in this project?
Well, I'm a charity guy. What's wrong?
I don't know what the issue here is, but I don't really care because there's tons of projects out there, and so that's an issue. And it's no different than someone who it's like, I've been involved in lawsuits my whole life, and it's like, I don't care whose fault it is. I don't care what's going on.
You're honest. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, you're just bad luck. Like, there's just bad stuff going on over here. So, and then on the pitch deck, right? So a lot of them are essentially lookbooks. A lot of them, and the investor doesn't care about that.
Don't come about lookbook. Nope.
They do care about the story.
Yeah.
Like, as business oriented as they are.
Yeah.
And again, think of yourself. Like, if I'm going to invest in a film, 2 films being equal.
Yeah.
I think I'll make money on both. I would rather invest in a film that I think has a good story.
That's right. Of course.
So they do care about the story. Another little thing that I've learned about investors is, the way a lot of filmmakers will say, I'm a creative, I don't do the business side. A lot of investors do actually have, especially like on the indie level, like if you're talking about like the real estate guy who's made a lot of money, the surgeon, whatever it is.
Yeah.
A lot of them are doing this because they down deep love creative ventures. And the same way the filmmaker will have a sort of insecurity and say, hey, I'm not a business guy. The business people very often will have an insecurity talking to the filmmaker about
the creative
side.
That's interesting.
Even if they're going to break it down on their own and they're going to say, I love this part, I don't love this part, like what a cool character, what a cool story. When they're talking to the filmmaker, a lot of times they'll take the attitude of like, well, this is an actual professional filmmaker. I don't feel comfortable talking to them
about
necessarily.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
So like you have like 2 people that both have their sort of like. So I take the attitude of the investor would prefer to invest in a story they like, and then you have like the whole aspect go beyond the story. Like social impact has become a huge thing nowadays, right?
Massive.
Where if you could tie a social impact angle to your story, a lot of stories have it built into it, right? A lot of stories, like a story about an alcoholic who ruined their life and then ruined their story. Your story is not about alcoholism. It's about, let's say this, but you can pull out a social impact thing, and that can help you. Certain investors might be interested in that. Certain organizations you can partner with. It helps you on your marketing.
Yeah.
So there's different angles you can approach, but an investor would rather invest in a story they like. So there is that. But on the pitch deck and on your presentation in general, there has to be that plan to make money, like a realistic, legitimate plan of this is our plan to make money. It's our plan to market it. Here's how everybody's getting paid. The answer better not be, we're just going to make so much money, and that's not going to be the answer. And the answer better, what's your demographic? Yeah. The answer better not be everybody. That's a bad answer.
That's a bad answer.
Everyone's going to be interested in this. Maybe everybody will love your movie.
Yeah.
But it's a bad pitch.
Yeah, it is.
You got to break it down. Who's your primary demographic, your secondary demographic? Like,
what's your plan B? What's plan A, B, and C? How you go about it? Yeah, I mean it's a lot of hard work that, and it's you know you have to build that experience up. So James, tell me what project you're working on at the moment.
So we do it in like yearly slates. So right now we've got a couple of projects we're working on. Black Sunday is one of them. So the other day when you had texted me, I was at the 20-year memorial mass. In 2005, it was the biggest FDNY tragedy after 9/11. So it's a true story. And there was two fires that broke out. One was in the Bronx, one was in Brooklyn. In the Bronx fire, firemen had to jump out of a fourth-story window. And that day, like, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. The building itself had issues. It had been illegally renovated. They didn't have the right blueprints. There was communication issues. There was so many things that went wrong that day.
Yeah.
And it's the name of the day is Black Sunday. So if you like Google Black Sunday FDNY, it'll come up. And it's still taught at fire academies today.
Wow.
And the daughter of one of the firemen who died that day, Catriona Bellu, works with us.
Yeah.
She's in our company, and she did our last couple of films with us. So she wrote the screenplay, Black Sunday. And it's about the fire itself. It's the aftermath the families had to deal with. And it ended up in a huge lawsuit because the city had also taken away equipment that the firemen needed. It's a whole thing. So Black Sunday we're working on. We're working on...
And it's a movie. It's not a documentary.
That's a feature film.
It's a feature.
Yeah, that's a feature film.
And then have you, where are you at on fundraising it?
So right now we're putting everything together.
Oh, you guys still putting
So for a movie like that, that does tilt higher budget.
Okay.
So it tilts higher budget because we have fire that we're going to do practical. We need the fire rigs, the trucks. There's a lot of things that are in there that make it a bit more expensive. We also have in our budget money for different types of actors that we're going to bring on. So right now it's putting everything together, partnering with associations, first responder associations, let's say. So one of the things that we do, depending on the budget of your film, is you start to raise as much support as you can. So you do go to investors, or just for the film, for the success of the film itself, you want to raise you want to do as much work as you can. And when you bring it to the investors and they say, what's your plan to make money? There's not only a plan to make money, but it's like, by the way, we have support. We have all the support behind us. So there's a lot of the back end work that goes into it.
Yeah.
And then we're working on a film that takes place in the 1960s. It's about postpartum depression and how it was dealt with back then. And there's a little bit of a fantastical element to it where this woman comes up to help this young mother who's suffering from postpartum, and she's got very bad intentions. She's the villain, but the mother doesn't realize that. And she's promising to solve this young mother's problems, where it's like, don't worry, I'll take care of your kid. And so it has a little bit of a fairy tale-esque feel to it. It's a drama. And then we're doing another TV show.
Another one. Wow.
We're doing a TV show.
So you got 3 projects running at the same time.
We're developing a couple. We have a TV show that's about a model who comes to New York. This is more, it'll be a fun show. But also dealing with a serious issue about a model who comes to New York, young model, starts to become very successful and is getting tied into the, more scandalous sides of New York life, clubs and drugs and all kinds of stuff. So it's glamorous, but there's a lot of pitfalls that are there. And she's
fun.
She's a young model, and she's living in an apartment with a bunch of other models, which is, agencies will sometimes do this. And
you're at the place of putting these concepts together and then the decks together, and then you're going after the fundraising as well, going to the markets, but are you going to be, or you have other people that's going to help you?
So we have a core team, which we're lucky to have. We have a core team. It's me, my brother, and Catriona that we're partners on all of our projects. And so we do have that, where there's the core team on every project, and we can do a lot of the work internally. So these projects are all written internally. These projects, we do breakdowns, budgets, schedules. We do our own decks. We do all that stuff. So we could put all that together, and then we look for, like I said, all the support. Maybe we're building social impact for some of them.
Yeah, and the approach is really just call, email, just going out to the market.
So I'll say that, and this is, if there's some secret, I don't know it. But my experience has been that there is no secret to financing your film on the indie level.
Yeah.
you really, in the beginning especially, you don't have a pipeline.
You got to grind it, man.
You got to grind it. You got to call people up and how much am I looking to raise?
Yeah.
And you have to go into salesperson mentality
That's right.
of you got to get the money. Because you don't have the pipeline.
Yeah.
You don't have the pipeline of investors you've worked with.
How do you do it? I mean, is it like, okay, someone that doesn't have the pipeline, or, I mean, okay, someone as smart as you guys doing it, but they're going to be going what? Online, IMDb, look at credits, and you start calling people up.
One way of doing it is look at other films,
Yeah.
similar budget to yours or similar, in scope to yours. Who are the EPs? Who are the investors? Who are the companies? Start calling them. Who are the producers? You can try calling them.
I mean, that's the point of the credit. They want to get known for it. They want to be called.
They want to get called.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing, though. Look at the number of producers on a project, and this is a whole other conversation, but you don't always know how a person got there. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people that will tack themselves onto a project for all different kinds of reasons.
It's
So
okay, you can still call them, and you
still call
quickly.
them. You
Yeah,
still call them, and you still see if the relationship will work. That's one way of doing it. Another way is you just got to build your network out a lot of times.
You got to position yourself.
You got to position yourself. So you have to get out there and just build your network. If you're between films, still you continue the networking. Who are kinds of people who can at least introduce me to investors?
Yeah.
Who is positioned themselves where I could build and this is not as like selfish as it sounds. I mean, it's nice to have professional contacts that you can hang out with.
Yes, right.
And for us, like, we're making films 24/7. You're the same way. A lot of filmmakers, and I have so much respect for them. Like even AFM, when you go there and they have like the parties afterwards.
That's right.
Everyone's wearing the lanyards. Everyone's still networking. No one's really partying. And I'm like, you know what? Filmmakers are serious people.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Your friends are going to end up. All my friends at this point are friends, but they're also people that I could potentially collaborate with. They're also people we could help each other out.
That's exactly right.
Even if they're in other industries, they could be accountants.
That's exactly right. I mean, I look into
Right.
different industries. They all have some sort of aspiration of being in the creative industry because it's kind of outside the scope. Everyone has some sort of need or want to. It's like a movie, like a need and a want, right? They all have something. So as a filmmaker, you just have to go out there and just get out there and talk. And like so many people are like just so in the box, they don't want to go out. I said you have to go to a meetup group, do something, man.
Do something. And also it helps you because you need different perspectives. Like so many filmmakers are in the bubble of filmmaking. So like even if they want to make a pitch deck, right? They have a challenge making a pitch deck.
That's right.
They're online looking up film pitch deck. You know what? Any industry, pitch decks are relatively the same thing.
That's right.
So, and also if you're running into challenges, you're running into a difficult negotiation, you're running into someone who's trying to be tough with you, you're running into all kinds of things. Sometimes it helps to have people outside of the film industry.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Successful people, even better, that you can go to them and be like, listen, I'm having this issue. They'll give you a whole different perspective.
That's right.
And they'll give you support outside of the film industry that you can leverage.
And more than likely, and if you position yourself right, I'm sure they also have a network and contacts, other people that's in similar industries.
Exactly.
They all have that.
Right. So you don't only have to approach it as I'm a filmmaker.
Right.
I'm just going to network within the filmmaking industry, and there's a big world out there.
Yeah.
But everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for investment, it's going to be checking on IMDb. It's going to be cold calling.
Yeah.
It's going to be tapping your own network and trying to find people who might be interested, might be able to help you out. Look for any kind of social impact you can leverage. Look for any kind of like who might be interested in your film. Like who might be like, my background is Greek. I was born here. So when we were doing a Good Cop, for example, we needed certain I remember we needed a warehouse. Difficult to get a warehouse. Where we had to do a whole shootout scene in the warehouse. We needed a big warehouse. The challenge with warehouses is they're operational warehouses. It was difficult.
Yeah, you got disrupt their operations.
Disrupt their operations, very expensive. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go to the Greek community. Let me see if they could help me. We did end up getting help from there. But you're looking for like support for your film.
Yeah, that's right.
Tap. What communities are you part of? What communities are you close to? It doesn't have to be just like, a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It could be if the film is promoting, I don't know, law, Let's say, it's a film about a lawyer. Maybe lawyers would be interested
Yeah.
in supporting the film. They'll invite you to legal events. They'll invite you to panel discussions where you can meet key people.
Key people, yep.
Where can I gain support from? Who would be interested in watching this film?
Yeah.
If you made a movie about filmmakers, every filmmaker is going to go watch that film just because it's about filmmakers.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's true of every job. Like, you can make a movie about dentists, and dentists will go check it out.
Yeah,
They'll be like, what is this movie about a dentist?
Right.
Like,
That's exactly right.
so who would be interested in your film? Start there. And maybe they'd help support your film.
That's great advice.
But there's no secret. And I think a lot of people, they get discouraged because when they're raising financing could take years sometimes. It's very difficult. Sometimes you got a bigger budget movie that'll get done before a lower budget movie. You can't figure out why. It's, certain film. I was at Holly Shorts one year out in LA, and there was somebody on a panel. I forget who she was. And she was like, some films want to get made and some films don't. You can have a film that has everything going for it. Top talent attached, a big director, all these things, and it just is not getting made. Other films seem so difficult to get made. I believe in that. I become more superstitious as I do it. So yeah, and a lot of filmmakers, they get discouraged because they think there's some financing secret that they don't know. And the only secret is, as you make more movies, you become more successful, more people want to invest with you.
That's right.
More people want to get involved with you. And then you have a pipeline to money. You've got a pipeline for, investors and agents for bigger actors and all kinds of things. But until you have that pipeline,
That's right.
maybe you have to make that $70,000 film. And you made it for 70, at least break even on it, right? At least try and make your money back on it. Everybody's happy with it. You made a good film.
Right.
A lot of investors are also going to check out your past work.
That's right.
So if you've got nothing else, I spoke with an investor very recently who told me he was pitched a film. He turned it down primarily because he looked at that person's prior work and he didn't think it was high quality.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of positioning.
Right?
It's all about positioning. So to cap this thing off, what is your goal? I'm going to talk selfishly here for you. What is your goal? What you're looking to achieve? Short, long term. Those that are. I'm sure there's going to be. I could see. You should do more podcasts, by the way. I think you're going to have you're dropping a lot of knowledge here. And I think the audience is going to learn a lot about you.
Right.
And I think, who knows, one of your clips will go viral, and then you'll be,
Right. Maybe, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say, what is your goal? And so, it's important for that because I think that, anyone that's giving something to the audience, you also have to be, you need to be able to get something in return too.
I mean, the simplest way of putting it is just to make more movies, bigger movies, just to get out there and be successful. And I look at getting into film in one of two ways. There are some people that get into film because they're cinephiles. They're fans of the directors and who back from when they were kids. Like, who's a director? Who made it? How was the movie made? I loved films and books and stories from when I was a kid. And we used to get together after every movie we went to, me and my brother and my friends, and we would talk about it for hours. We never talked about who the director was. I always looked at it from just story. So in terms of my goals, it's to make films that people will enjoy. Yeah. And that's my goal. I love when I watch a film and I'm like, wow, from a world building standpoint, this is just a cool world. Even if it takes place in modern day, a good quality story, it exists in its own world. So you kind of get lost in it, and it's like, that's a pretty cool story. Like, it sticks with you. Yeah. That's my goal, to make stories that stick with people, that are obviously entertaining and fun to watch, that can inspire people. I was inspired, and I still am, by great stories. No matter what the medium. Books, video games. Some video games become so cinematic now that it's like... So that's the goal, really, is just to create the best stories we can. And, yeah, it's a good feeling to make a movie that people are watching.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm the same way. I have the same goals as you, man. So I totally get it.
And everybody knows the experience of having a movie you love. You've watched it 15 times. Yeah. Then you watch it with someone else, and it's their first time, and you feel like it's your first time.
That's right.
Watching a film, and you get that experience at festivals. You get that experience at screenings. You're watching with an audience. You're watching it all over again. It's just an awesome experience.
I always say it's another way of getting your message and it's written on stone, and it would if it's great, it will last forever.
I'll tell you one more thing. Well, interesting. I like to put personal like locations and things into the films we work on, and I look at it almost like you're memorializing.
Yeah, yes, right.
Now you could take
Memorializing. That's a good
pictures.
word, yeah.
You could take pictures and videos of the real life, let's say house. But for some reason, maybe it's because I just love making films. Putting it in a film to me is more of like I don't know. It's more of a permanent thing.
Yes,
It's a more special thing to look back and like that's this location that's personal to me, versus like here's a picture of it.
That's right.
So people have different motivations for making films. For me and for our goals, it really is just make great stories, and I want successful films.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
awesome. And okay, so James, it was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. And your studio, by the way, is awesome.
Thank you, man. James Orfanos, right?
Orfanos, yep.
James Orfanos, everybody. Check him out. All the description is going to be in the YouTube link. Follow us.